All right, we'll give a couple seconds to get on here, taking the supplements, post-workout supplements, vitamins. All right, good morning. It is episode 35 of the Schulte Cast. I'm trying to figure out how we missed the weather. Did we miss the weather here? They had bad weather in San Marcos. Bad weather. Marshall and Texas State are postponed until today, 1 o'clock, if the stadium is in good shape. Really dangerous tornadoes. They're hiding in the bathrooms at the stadium. Looked like the outfield wall was damaged. Hopefully we find out everybody is okay. I think the teams are okay, but we'll find out what the damage is to San Marcos later today. No, not good. I mean, those tornadoes sweeping through. So last week was Oklahoma, and life changes in a heartbeat. And then we got Josh Pace chasing him. I don't understand that. It is what it is. All right. Lots to talk about this morning. I want to thank Lenny Mayard, the Cajun glove doctor, for the cap. Mike Desimo was wearing it during my interview with him. We posted yesterday, so it would have been Wednesday, and I get the hat one day later. A little bit of a trek to Abbeville. Haven't been down there in a minute, but pretty cool cap. So it actually fits. It looks straight. I didn't realize the Cajuns thing was on that, but very cool. All right, so check out the Cajun glove doctor if you get a chance, and he can make you a customized hat. And if you don't like the colors of the cap, I think that's fine. I think it looks fresh, as the old people used to say. Boy, that was the thing. Was that high school or college? That was the thing. Anyways. All right. So starting off with Cajun softball before the storms hit. They took it to JMU. JMU was overmatched. Cajuns win it in 5 innings. Was it 7? I had it, and now I don't have it. Let's see what we got here. Trying to keep all the scores correct. Well, it would have been, wasn't it 8-0? Maya Davis ended it. Was it Maya Davis ended it? It was, oh God. Mess that up? No. All right. Let's see where we are. We're not organized here right now. That I don't remember the damn score of the damn game yesterday. Sam Landry pitched well, but a couple of girls got in there and kind of out of nowhere, right? So the Cajuns did win 8-0. Sam Grader had an RBI single. Sam has had 4 at-bats since April 20th. That's not a lot, right? That was in like the 2nd inning, right? Cajuns put 4 on the board in the 2nd, and Sam Grader's getting an RBI base hit. Pretty good. Landry is mowing them down. Cajuns are already up 6-0 into the 5th. Landry gets the first out, and then was it Lexi Delbry comes in and struggles the first 2 batters, but then gets a double play and gets out of it. The Cajuns turn 2 double plays. They lead the nation with 43 double plays, or now 44. And so a couple of girls got in there that I guess Jared Glasgow does a good job of getting them a little bit of time, because that's where, I know it's a previous coach, but trust the process. When the time comes, you got to be ready. And, the Cajuns are going to need, extra pitching if they're going to get through this. I mean, to win in Oklahoma City, you're going to need more than 2 pitchers. I don't know if you need more than 2 pitchers in the super regional. That's probably not it because you're only going to play 3 ball games. But if you win the first 2 games in the regional, then you only have 4 games. The problem is you're probably playing 2 on the same day. That could be an issue. The Cajuns played a really tight ball game, again winning, 8-0, and really easy. Who else had the base hits? Again, Maya Davis had a 2-run single. Langoliers had a 2-run single. Sam Rowe hit a home run. Vasquez drove in a run with a ground out. Just a really good, easy ball game. They were talking about on the broadcast that Sam Landry hadn't pitched any high-intensity pitches. There's no pressure pitches. She gave up a couple of doubles, but gave up a leadoff double in the first, worked around that. Gave up a 2-out double in the second, worked around that. Didn't retire the side in order until the fourth. But, again, there was no high-pressure situation where the game was on the line for Sam Landry. And with 1 out in the fifth, Glasgow goes to the bullpen and brings in Delbury to get the final 2 outs, and the Cajuns tack on 2 in the bottom of the fifth, and they advance. This game today at 4 o'clock is not going to be easy because they're taking on Troy. And Troy hit the ball so much yesterday, I missed that they threw a no-hitter. For whatever reason at the time watching this, I would past my nap time, I guess. I was trying to stay up to tweet it out. But Libby Baker throws a no-hitter over 5 innings, and she was sitting on the bench, for a minute or two. Coastal was the number 4 seed. Troy was the number 5 seed. And, Troy scored 5 in the third, 5 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth to win 16-0. Those bats are going to be tough. All right. Those bats are going to be tough. They hit 4 home runs. Thompson, the shortstop, hit a pair. She drove in 5. The Cajuns are hoping the foot effect, the foot theory is in full effect today when you score more runs than necessary and keep on piling on. Softball and baseball, for that fact of the matter, are a little bit different when you can run rule a team. But here's the thing, right? I think teams probably are intimidated by the Cajuns. I don't think Troy's going to be intimidated. I don't. There's going to be no intimidation factor. There's probably a pissed factor right now, right? Troy beat them 3-0 and led 7-0, and then saw the Cajuns score 15 out of 16. So don't kid yourself. Troy thinks they can beat the Cajuns. They'll be right there. Now it'll be interesting to see who pitches. Landry was really good yesterday. Chloe was not good at all in the first inning against Troy last weekend. So we'll see what happens, right? Locker came in and sort of settled things down. They got on the board, and then Landry came in and pitched, I believe, the rest of the way. So this game today is not going to be easy. Let's see. Does it change? Is the RPI changing? It said that the Cajuns were up to 12. We're up to 11. Maybe that's NCAA. I'm looking at Warren Nolan. They were 12 yesterday. Let me go to the NCAA as well. So they're still 12. They have not moved. Alabama did move down 1. Let me see. We got NCAA, RPI, softball. All right. It does have Louisiana 11. So I guess they're ahead of Florida on the NCAA mix, and Florida's ahead of them by 2. So it's close, but that's where they are. Let's see if does Warren Nolan predict postseason? Let's see here. We know who they're playing now. Can you do predicted results? No. Let's see. It is. It predicts the Cajuns win. But the RPI doesn't go up any. That's going to depend on who else loses. Anyways. All right. So South Alabama won yesterday in, I think, 12 innings, getting a walk-off home run. Olivia Lackey pitched all 12. So that was going to put them at a little bit of a disadvantage going up against, if Texas State and Jessica Mullins won, right? Except those storms came in, and now Marshall and Texas State aren't playing until today at 1 p.m. So now they're going to have to play 2 games in one day. And as we've seen, LSU was supposed to play, I think, at 10, 11 a.m. yesterday. They didn't play until 5 because of the storms. Again, I don't know how these storms missed us. We got storms on both sides of us. Tallahassee right now is under a tornado warning. So please stay safe. I just don't know how the storms, did it hit central Louisiana? Because we just didn't get anything down here. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. So we'll see when that game gets underway at 1, and that'll be Marshall and Texas State. I presume Jessica Mullins is going to be going in that one. And, if they beat Marshall, they'll take on Olivia Lackey and South Alabama again. So it would appear that Troy and the Cajuns would have a little advantage over, whoever they play next. Is Mullins pitching 3 times in 2 days? I even wondered if they would pitch at all just to get through. And South Alabama's bats were quiet yesterday. So we shall see. It is, you got Cajuns and Troy in the semis, and South Alabama in the semis, and now we're waiting for Texas State and Marshall. Again, much more important that everybody's okay and safe, and we are wishing all the best. I will say, and I know it's money and everything along those lines, so I'm not being naive, and there is a difference. I don't really want to come off as sexist. It's just, there's such a difference between the softball and the baseball, but it doesn't matter. We won't even go there. Outside of, somewhere along the way, someone was doing braids for one of the players while they were waiting. So LSU plays a 14-inning marathon against Alabama. Alyssa Lang gets Sydney Pierzon, right, after the game. Then I think she went on with Taylor Pleasance on the postgame with SEC Network. And they're there for 30 or 40 minutes while they're waiting for the next game. The Sun Belt is in New Orleans because they built up a nice studio there, and they're doing it from, there, but then they go to break, and, there's no broadcast. Now it turns out, who knows what if you had said everything there and the storms came, the storms came in Tuscaloosa. That's where they are for the SEC Network. So we'll see what that's like today as well. Because the storms were in Tuscaloosa where the SEC championships are. But you got Dari Noka and, others on, hosting. And so they're talking LSU softball and SEC softball for 30, 40 minutes. Sunbelt goes to break. Now, I know it's not on TV, it's streaming. But boy, can you get any better promotion for your conference than being on from, again, it would have been 10 a.m. yesterday through 6 p.m. before those storms came through? That it takes a little bit of investment. I don't think, this is my theory, all right? Baseball and football were always great. Basketball, men's basketball. I think the SEC Network, the biggest benefactors of the SEC Network are the women's sports, are softball, gymnastics, women's basketball. That's where the SEC Network has propelled these programs to prominence. Obviously, they get it done on the court, but that's where it comes in a huge way, right? Are they helping out football? Okay, that's paying the way. Right? Football's paying the way, but SEC football was already pretty popular. So was SEC basketball and SEC baseball, for that fact of the matter. But it's the softball, it's the gymnastics, and it's the women's basketball. Excuse me. That the SEC network has, really helped out. And when softball for the Sun Belt just goes on for the games, you're missing the extra 40 minutes that you could talk. Does that take money? Sure. All right. I don't think I don't think Noah and Dorian, who are calling the games, live in New Orleans. They're flying in. They're being put up for a hotel. They're getting meal money, right? Would you need extra money for that? I don't know if, I don't know if you want to have them, just have a producer on and have a producer remotely just to set up interviews. I don't think that's great either. But if you want to invest in the conference, you need to be broadcasting what really would have been for 8 to 10 hours, right? With no storms, right? Today, even with the storms yesterday, you'd be broadcasting from 1 until 9. Let's see. I got this here. Hold on. Let's see here. So the first game today is scheduled at 1. The second game is scheduled at 4. And the third game would be scheduled at 7. You'd be on from 1 p.m. If you want to do a half an hour pregame show, 12:30 to half an hour postgame show, 9:30, and say there's no interruptions. That's 9 hours of Sunbelt softball. You just can't beat that promotion. But I guess they just don't have the money, and you could do the same thing with baseball. All right. You do the same thing with basketball. And they just, I think they're missing the boat a little bit. I don't know how much money that would cost. Totally. But I think they're missing the boat there. If it is cost prohibitive, I get it. But a little bit money now spent takes care of a lot of things later on. That's the way I would see it. All right. All right. It is the Schultz-cast episode 35. Cajuns heading to Statesboro. We haven't really looked at that. I posted Locked On Sunbelt. Probably a little bit lazy. Locked On Sunbelt. I did Sean Clark from App State, which was a really good interview. The Clay Helton one is good too. I can't wait to post that. He had some good things to say about the G5. So that'll get some people interested. I want to see let's see if I don't know if we got the game notes for this week yet either. Schedule. I don't really know anything about Georgia Southern. I know they're technically tied for third, but they do lead Southern Miss because they took 2 out of 3 from Southern Miss earlier in the season. I want to see if we have game notes for this one. We don't seem to have any game notes. Let me see if there's a preview here. Let's see what we got here. Preview showdown. Well, this is not right. All right, so okay. Well, we may have some news here. All right. Which puts a little damper on things. The Cajuns have Blake Marshall going on Friday. Is that right? Against right-hander Ben Johnson. What is going on? Let me see here. Holy mackerel. Well, that changes everything. I mean, if the Cajuns don't have Saturday starter or Sunday starter, and they're going Blake Marshall today. Oh, man. Is that right? That changes things in a big way. Let me see. Game notes. Is that really what they're doing? That's insane. Oh, man. So with 2 weekends left to go in the regular season, the Cajuns are, oh my God. Wow. With 2 weekends left to go, the Cajuns don't have a rotation. Oh, man. They're going Friday, Blake Marshall, Saturday, TBD, and Sunday, TBD. That is crazy. Did I miss that email? Let's see if I missed that email. That is nuts. I did not miss that email. Still looking for it. Yesterday. Oh, man. I guess we didn't think about asking. We asked, is Fluno okay? Yeah, I did not get an email. So, breaking news. Breaking news. With 2 weeks left to go, the Cajuns rotation, which has been this way for the better part of a month and a half, right? I mean, since Arkansas State, right? No, since after Arkansas State. Because didn't Langevin pitch that? I thought Langevin pitched the first. Let me see. Oh, man. Now I'm terrified of this. I'm terrified. I thought Langevin started against Arkansas State. Let me see here. In the first game. Yeah. Langevin started on that first game. And then Andrew Herman started. So the streak started with a Saturday game against Arkansas State. But then you had Andrew Herman pitch 3-0 against Old Dominion, right? Yeah. Okay. So it's been since March 22nd. 1 series, 2 series, 3 series, 4 series, 5 series, 6 series. Fluno didn't pitch against Troy. Did he pitch against Southern Miss? Did he start against Southern Miss? He did. So heading into this huge series with Georgia Southern, the Cajuns are Blake Marshall, TBD, TBD. Not great, Bob. Not great. Oh, I mean, you could look at it the other way. What a big spot for Blake Marshall. He came in the other day, right? He got a couple of big strikeouts, pitched a little bit. That was Tuesday. So rested anyways. Oh, man. The Cajuns are going to be scratching and clawing their way through 3 games. Oh, man. No Herman, no Morgan, and we'll see about Fluno. All right. I'm not sure why I would have had confidence. I figured they would have reverted back to form, although their form on the road the last couple of games has, it wasn't good against Coastal. It wasn't good against Troy. Let's see where. Wrong sport there. Sports. Let's see what baseball is. Again, I haven't followed Georgia Southern, and not that much. All right, Georgia Southern in the middle of the pack in hitting, so 278. They're exactly 8th, 278. Runs scored. The Cajuns score 341. They're 7th. Georgia Southern 320. So that's ninth. All right. Now let's go the other way. And this is, we'll do pitching. Cajuns are still number one in ERA, 4.22. Georgia Southern is fifth, 5.39. All right. Well, to be honest with you, that's taking the wind out of my sails. That tells you what should have been done. I don't think we missed a lineup. I don't know if anybody knows that until I looked. And I looked on the Georgia Southern stats just to see them. Let's see what Ben Johnson brings. I don't know what Ben Johnson is. Ben Johnson, a right-hander. This game's this game's actually starting at 5:30. So that Cajun softball game may be done or close to it. So that's kind of good. Ben Johnson, a right-handed senior. This year, 4-2. I'm going to go. 4-2. He's only made 5 starts, 16 appearances. Actually has 2 saves. 5.91 ERA. Now they have a little bit of a tiny ballpark too. I guess it's a little bit like Troy's. More hits and innings pitched, 52 to 42 and 2/3. Walk strikeout ratio is just above 2-1, 40 to 17. And batting average against is 311. All right. Well, I mean, if the Cajuns can't hit themselves their way to a win tonight, yeah, it's going to I would say this, it's made this weekend much more interesting. I did not see this coming at all. At all. And we'll tweet out the starting rotation. In fact, we'll do that. Can I do that right now? I am shocked at this. I guess I could wait until we're done with this, but I am shocked. Wow. All right. Did not miss the email. Sometimes you get these emails and you think you think you know what they are. And then you don't realize what they are. And oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's see if, who would know is our guy, Kevin Foote. So let me see if I missed it with him. All right. Let me see. If he posted anything like this. Acadiana runs comes to an end against Catholic. St. Thomas More not able to come over St. Louis. Turlings going to think. Okay. Cajuns, latest team to make a run. Time for pitching staff to reverse fortune on the road. Now, this comes May 8th. I don't know. I don't pay for this. I probably should. The Eagles' top starters have been Ty Fisher and Thomas Higgins. Neither has more innings than pitched allowed, but they've only combined for 32 walks. UL's pitching staff, interesting time of the season. Chase Morgan has been pushing to perhaps move to game 1, while Andrew Herman has battle control issues away from Russo Park. Yeah, he doesn't know yet. He didn't know. Well, we're going to get a big surprise. Oh, man. All right. So obviously not breaking news. They're not hiding it. Georgia Southern knew. It's posted on the website. I don't know how many people are looking at game notes, but usually we get emailed the game notes. But wow. All right. So Cajuns are scrabbling for pitching. I guess maybe Herman can come on later on after Blake Marshall, but we'll see. Oh man. I mean, Foote's thinking that Langevin should. The idea of using Langevin on Fridays, use him twice in a weekend, that hasn't really worked out yet to where that's been feasible. And then the one time they tried it back-to-back days, it didn't work. So crazy. And then he pitched. Didn't he finish it off on Tuesday? Yeah. All right. So a little bit of news there. 2 weeks left to go. I mean, the hot take would be that the Cajuns weekend pitching rotation is in shambles. That's the headline. Sorry to say. But I mean, we'll see it. I mean, we've seen Blake Marshall step it up before. Well, I mean, he needs to. Here's the thing. What's the game plan for Marshall? That's what I want to see. And I want to see them stick to the game plan. Like, do you go Marshall 3? Well, Etheridge pitched 4 1/3. He may not be ready to go today, but that would be the direction that I would go in. Can you get 3 innings from Marshall? Maybe 4. and then you bring in a hard-throwing right-hander, go from the lefty to the righty. Yeah. I'd say the Cajuns are in trouble, but it seems that Georgia Southern is just in much trouble. So if you can bet the over, you may want to go there, which of course means someone's going to win this game 2-1. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I've been thrown for a loop. I'm absolutely thrown for a loop here on the Schulte cast. That hasn't happened all that much. All right. So that certainly makes the series this weekend a little bit more intriguing, right? It's not about who's going to win it. It's how you're going to put together a pitching staff, which is not great in the middle of May. Not great at all. All right. Meanwhile, LSU softball, they get a win over number 1 Tennessee. They're going to, they're for those who thought they may drop. Obviously, they're not now. They have 2 big wins. They beat Alabama, which helps probably the Cajuns. Obviously LSU is going to host. They're obviously going to be a national seed now. I'm not sure those were up for debates, but people, when I say people, Kevin Foote thought maybe they'd be a little bit lower because they've struggled in SEC play. But obviously I think they're going to be very well could be a top 5 seed. Did they move up? That would be one that moved up. If you take down the number 1 team, you'd think you'd move up a little bit. I thought they were 5 yesterday heading into it. They're still 5. So maybe this isn't, well, it gives them 54. I mean, let me see here. 57. All right. LSU not play a couple of games this year? They lose a couple of games? Because they've played 2 games already in the tournament. But they have not moved up. They're still 5th. LSU, meanwhile, going to Tuscaloosa. Hopefully they got in. Again, saw people posting bad weather in Tuscaloosa. And hopefully everybody's safe there. And, we'll see if LSU can get it done. I did hear Teddy Cahill from Baseball America talk about, doing a good job of talking out of both sides of his mouth. He puts it out there that is, bracketology, and he doesn't have LSU in there because he thinks that LSU is going to lose 2 out of 3 to Alabama, and that's going to prevent them to get to 13 or 14 wins in the SEC. And at the same time, he went on Moscona's show and says, well, I know what I wrote, but I think they have a good shot at taking 2 out of 3 from Alabama. I mean, I've been doing a little Homer radio, which is fine. And even Moscona is like, could they host if LSU goes off, beats Alabama 3 in a row, beats Ole Miss 3 in a row, and wins the SEC tournament? I happen to think LSU will host. LSU will have a top 20 RPI at that point in time. Teddy's like, no. And Moscona's like, well, even to have that conversation was ridiculous like last week heading into the A&M series. But here we are. And LSU is, aren't they? Were they in the top 25? Let me see here. I think they will. Maybe they're in the 30s. Yeah. They're 35 right now. They went down 1 because they played Northwestern State. But if they take 2 out of 3 from Bama, they'll be top 30. Yeah. Top 16 is tough. Top 16 is tough. That last loss to A&M, despite not meaning a whole lot, ends up meaning a whole lot. If they beat A&M, they'd be top 30 heading into this series. And so maybe you could get close to top 20 if you win the series. And then, you take down Ole Miss. We'll see what happens. So we got a lot there. Going on. Was there anything else? I think I injured myself, injured my arm. I changed my lifting, not to heavier weight, but different workout. And I feel like I strained a tricep. Crazy. I have not weighed myself the last couple of days. I don't know why. I don't think I'm eating a lot. I am eating a bunch of almonds. So almonds are supposed to fill you up. I don't mind with the salt. Retain a little bit of water because I drink a lot and pee all day long. Is that TMI? A little bit of candy. Again, I did not get into either of the bourbon raffles, but I am going to go because Orange Theory is tomorrow at 8:30 or 8:15. I am going to head out to one of the Rouses because last time people just kind of gathered there and then they had something available for everybody. So I don't know if it's just everybody who won or if I can grab a bottle. Like that's how I got the 1924, Old Forester 1924. It was just available for everyone. So we'll see what's available. Also, I kind of a geek that I like to see what I'm missing out on. You never know if someone's willing to trade. All right. Depending on what they have and depending on what they get, depending on what I have that they want. So we'll see. They don't, the difference between, I don't know why they don't post their bottles, but you know, like New News does it. They posted their bottles. Alabama posts their bottles. Bottles-ish. Sometimes it's not all the same for Alabama, but you get a general idea. Then you get a count beforehand. So yeah, we'll go to Orange Theory tomorrow at 8:15, but I think the Rouse is on Camellia. So we'll go there. I think it's supposed to start at 7:30. So we'll go there early. No, not that far away. Get up early. We get up early all the time. May hang out at the Yard Goat today and just follow Cajun softball and Cajun baseball. So if you see me at the Yard Goat, maybe just, live tweet from there. Is it supposed to be hot today? Like all of a sudden did it become summer? Can I tell you something about that? That was interesting because I lived in Miami before I came to Lafayette the first time around. And, it's the deep south. So Miami always has a breeze and it never really gets to 100. All right. It can be hot and humid every now and then. And all the, once in a blue moon that you don't get a breeze. So, but I lived off the Intercoastal for a little bit, but for the most part, I lived, either on South Beach or in Key Largo. So it never gets all that stifling hot. Now, if the wind's not blowing, it does. But I always surprised here. Like my first summer here in 13, it didn't feel like it got hot, like super hot. Like it hurt to go outside hot. I thought until like training camp, like in the end of July, like it became a different feeling. Like I used to live in the high desert between LA and Vegas, and now cooled off at night, but it would hurt to breathe. All right. It would hurt to breathe like July and August. And so I just remember it was warm. Don't kid yourself. But it just wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. And, usually you think around Memorial Day it gets hot. I just remember the first time it didn't get hot until like training camp. So what's the weather? I thought I saw like 100 degrees here or something like that. Like 90 today and 90 next week or 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. So highs in the 80s coming up, and then highs in the 90s heading into Memorial Day weekend. All right. A little bit of rain coming through, but not nearly as bad as it's been. All right. All right. Thanks very much for tuning in. You could, get it. If you want to know where to get information again, Cajun's Glove Doctor. It's Lenny Mayard in Abbeville. I don't think he's difficult to find on social media. It's a great cap. This was done for the football team, not the baseball team. I love it. Plus, it fits my head, which is a big head, both figuratively and literally. All right. Again, we'll be at the Yard Goat, I guess, watching softball and baseball. We'll see how long we last if it's that hot out. We'll be live tweeting from there. So come by and say hi. Appreciate everybody who has done it. Again, doing really well on Locked On Sunbelt. I need to do better on YouTube, and I need to figure out why. Appreciate it again. Sean, we had Sean Clark today on Locked On Sunbelt. Clay Helton is already in the can, as they say. That's recorded. We'll probably wait until Tuesday for that, and we still need Major Applewhite and Del McGee. And I think that gives me, is that the 12? Let me see. Best way to do this is I look at the standings. I look at the standings. Outside of Jared Parker and Bob Chesney, who we got before spring practice, but we just had App, we've had Coastal, ODU. Oh, I need Charles Huff. Okay, so that's one. I don't think I've heard back from Charles Huff. I need to do that one. All right. So, but we've had Texas State, Arkansas State, Cajuns, Southern Miss, ULM. So it's 3. So I need Del McGee, Georgia State, Del McGee, and I need Charles Huff. And that'll be 12 of the 14. That's pretty good. Oh, and in South Alabama. So you think the guys who know me would come on. So you'd think they'd be a little bit easier. So all right. I appreciate it, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll be around certainly. Please be safe and please share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Schultze Cast and Locked On Sunbelt. Really appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.